But let's talk more about Arizona and the implications that race could have for control of the Senate next year with our guest tonight, Cameron Arcand, a reporter covering Arizona for the New York Post. He is live up late with me tonight here on the Final Five. Welcome back, Cameron. Good to see you again.
Thank you.
Interesting times to be in Arizona, no doubt about that. I want to talk first and foremost about the presidential race because we've talked so much about immigration. Arizona, of course, is a border state out there. We have seen President Trump and his vice presidential nominee making trips down to the border along the southern border. What's the read of the people in Arizona right now? Is this major campaign issue that Republicans are hoping it will be?
Oh, it certainly is. And what I would bring up in terms of border policy, you need to look no further than the proposition that's on the ballot, completely just tackling the border issue in of itself. It's highly controversial. There is a proposition that would essentially make it a state crime to cross into the United States illegally in the state of Arizona. That would give our authorities in Arizona the power to arrest people on the suspicion. I believe there's some outlines in terms of what the evidence would be for crossing illegally into the United States in Arizona. And you look at the polling for that, I believe it was from Noble Predictive Insights that showed that 2/3 of Arizonans would back this proposal. So it certainly is, when you break it down, a top issue. And you look at, after the Biden executive order, arrests in the Tucson sector have gone down, but obviously they're still dealing with the impacts in these communities of the migrant crisis. Nobody is denying that. And you could even talk with ranchers there. They could tell you about their property values, property damage, and all these different issues that are impacting them. We could also discuss fentanyl, where whether you're in Payson or here in Phoenix, you're still seeing signs that say one pill can kill. And, I always hear the argument about, citizens are the ones trafficking in the fentanyl, which is true. But it also, when that happens, when we deal with such a heavy flow of migrants coming through the interior, those law enforcement officers are spending less time at those legal ports of entry, catching that fentanyl and dealing with this drug crisis. And they are dealing with this, which is why you hear on both sides of the aisle and in this presidential race, in this discussion, conversations about hiring and supporting more Border Patrol officers and really how to best navigate this crisis going forward. There are plenty of points where both campaigns, Democrats and Republicans, are fully discussing this issue. It's just a matter of how they want to tackle it.
And that's what it always comes down to. I mean, obviously, we have a state that was carried by Joe Biden 4 years ago, and Democrats would like to keep the state blue. You also have that hotly contested Senate race where it is an open seat. Kyrsten Sinema has decided to leave the Senate, so it is between Ruben Gallego, who is currently in the Congress, and you have Kari Lake on the other side. But we're seeing polls out there that show that there could be a lot of ticket splitting. People will show up to vote for Donald Trump, Republicans, but then they'll turn around and vote for Ruben Gallego in some of these races. Is it entirely possible that we might see that sort of split?
Well, I've heard pundits certainly suggest that theory. I've also heard the theory about, this presidential race has taken up so much of the national headlines and the national discussion, even just here in Arizona, if we want to go more local, where, I've even heard of the notion from some conservative pundits that Kari Lake's close alignment with Trump could help her, even though he is polling ahead of Lake. I've also heard the flip side, like you just mentioned, the ticket splitting notion as well. At the end of the day, it really is going to come down to the policies. This is a policy race, and that is something that, I'm out talking with voters all the time, doing interviews with people, and I'm always hearing about the same policies, the same issues over and over again. Sure. And, this is certainly something where we look at, a presidential race happening at the same time as a very competitive Senate race. And it really does play a big role in how people are perceiving all of these candidates. So I definitely think this is a flip a coin election. If you want to guess who's going to win, whether the presidential or the Senate race, we don't know. And I think at the end of the day, it's really going to boil down to how are they presenting themselves to these swing voters, to these undecided voters. And right now you see very heavy plays being made for people who just aren't quite sure. I mean, Gallego was known kind of in our more local Phoenix district, and Kari Lake ran for governor, and she was an anchor for a number of years. So Gallego had to boost his name ID, and Kari Lake is trying to maybe dispel some notions that were made and claims that were made during the 2022 election and perception about her.
We can keep talking about this all night, but we got 50 days. Cameron, I'm sure going to bring you back at some point as we get some more polling and more insights on where this race is going. Cameron Arcand from the New York Post. Good to see you again, Cameron. Thanks for joining us.